the Polar Express! All aboard!
During the Industrial Revolution, the iron industry expanded because of the invention of steel. Also, the production of railroads and steam engines allowed for more efficient travel, communication, and transportation of goods.
The Industrial Revolution could have not developed without iron. Coal was an inexpensive way to smelt iron in order to purify it and prepare it for use. Since this method was cheaper than using wood or charcoal, iron became more widely used to produce steam engines, railroads, and steamboats.
In 1789, Abraham Darby created coke, which is purified coal that is heated to a higher temperature so iron can be smelted easier.
In the 1850s, Henry Bessemer invented the Bessemer process, which is blowing air and applying pressure to smelting iron to speed up the process.
In 1784, Henry Cort invented puddling, the stirring of molten steel to make raw iron, which is strong and inexpensive.
Until the Industrial Revolution, iron working had been done by individuals or small groups of people. The steel and iron industry caused a growth in the economy. In the 1880s, steel production increased from 1.25 million tons to 10 million tons.
Iron was immediately a big industry when the colonists arrived, but in 1750, Britain passed the Iron Act, which forbade the building of mills in the colony.
The remarkable steam locomotive, the Stephenson Rocket, was built in 1829 by Robert Stephenson for the Rainhill trials, in which the best designs to power the Liverpool and Manchester railways were chosen. His design did not win, but it is the most famous example of an evolving design of steam engine.
The invention of the steam engine was a mixture of the works of three British inventors, Thomas Savery, Thomas Newcomen, and James Watt.
In 1698, Thomas Savery built the first steam engine to pump water out of mines. It was a very simple design, and its lack of moving parts as well as its need for lots of coal to pump small amounts of water made it very inefficient.
In 1712, Newcomen replaced Savery's machine with the atmospheric engine. The driving force of this machine was a vacuum that is created when steam is condensed back into water. Steam is first emitted from the boiler to the cylinder. When the piston reaches the top, water is sprayed to the cylinder to cool the steam and form a vacuum. The piston is sucked down into the cylinder by the weight of the air on top of it, and the cycle is started again. In 1763, James Watt improved Newcomen's design. He developed a way to make a crankshaft and produce a circular motion using the steam and power. He did not have the money to develop his engine, so he convinced an English manufacturer that building steam engines could become a profitable industry. They then started a company together to make and sell their engines. The steam engine is powered by coal, which is used to create fire. The heat is transferred into the water in a pressurized boiler and then transformed into saturated steam. The steam is used by the motor unit to push on pistons to power machinery. The used, cooler, lower pressure steam is exhausted into the atmosphere. The steam pushing out of the engine powers the gears and other machinery that makes boats, trains, and machines work. One of the most revolutionary uses of steam energy was the railroad engine, which drove English industry after 1820. The first long-distance rail line from the coastal city of Liverpool to inland Manchester was an immediate success upon its completion in 1830, and within a few decades, most British cities were connected by rail. The rails reduced friction and made it possible for horses or manpower to pull much more. The Stephenson Rocket, which traveled across the railways at 16 miles per hour, encouraged many companies to build large truck lines across Britain. Railroads reduced the cost of shipping since markets grew larger and more centralized, leading to larger factories with better machinery. The development of the railroads also led to the development of the urban working class. Railroad construction forced a strong demand for manual labor. Many landless farm laborers and peasants worked on railroad construction. When the work was finished, many searched for similar work, either with the railroad, factories, or construction. By the time these men sent for their families to join them, they had been transformed into urban workers. Railroads gave manufacturers a cheap way to transport materials and finished products. The railroad boom created hundreds of thousands of new jobs for railroad workers and miners. The railroad industry led to new industries and inventions and increased the productivity of others. For example, agricultural products could be transported farther without spoiling, benefiting the farmers. Railroads transported people, allowing them to work in cities far away from their homes.